if there is one thing that every single vehicle, whether it be on the road or off-road, on the racetrack or not, in the bush, it doesn't matter. There's one thing that every single vehicle needs, and that one thing needs to work absolutely perfectly well. Otherwise, you've got a vehicle that is physically dangerous to yourself and to everybody around you. That one thing is brakes. Welcome to another DIY video. In this video, I'm going to fix a problem that I've had with this vehicle of mine for quite a while now, and that is a deteriorating braking system. It has got to a point now where I have to sort it out. I've found myself sitting at traffic lights or a stop street on a little bit of an incline, and then all of a sudden I'd have people flashing their lights at me behind me or blowing their hooters at me, and I'd be slowly creeping backwards without me realizing it. And well, I'll tell you in the video about what happened and what went wrong, but to cut a long story short, it turns out that the front and rear braking system on these cars is separated, and the rear braking system ended up being the only one that was working. I found that the front brakes were slowly fading. I would find myself, once I had noticed the problem and I'd be sitting at the lights, I would find that my foot would slowly be creeping forward, and it turned out to be the front braking system was the master cylinder plungers were leaking. Welcome to this video. I'm going to now take you and I'm going to show you. I took the master cylinder off, removed the plungers, replaced them with new ones, and I'm going to show you what was wrong and how I fixed it. Right, here's the master cylinder. I've got it out of the car and I'm going to just bring it up nice and close so that you can see. Don't want to lose focus. This thing hasn't been taken off the car in 32 years, I'm pretty sure. Luckily, I have got a brand new complete set of seals and the plunger, so this whole thing is going to get thrown away. I'm going to take this out now and see what it looks like. One thing I did notice when I took the brake lines off was that the rear one was bone dry. There wasn't, this one, when I loosened the nut and started to take it out, I got a drip of fluid out of it, but this one, absolutely nothing. You can see it's still bone dry on the outside. So there's definitely something going on here. We're going to have a look at that now. The circlip can be a bit of a pain to get out. Hopefully I can get it out without too much trouble. Try getting a screwdriver in there. There we go. And the circlip has gone for a bit of a flip. We'll find that in a second. But let's have a look at what we've got here. Very dirty, very dirty. As I say, I've replaced the fluid, topped the fluid up and flushed the front out, because I've had the calipers off before, but I've never done the back. So the back circuit is still very dirty. That doesn't look like it comes off of there. Let's just have a quick look at the brand new set I've got. I know you get an aluminium master cylinder and a steel master cylinder, and I think I've got the steel one. Actually, mind you, it's light enough. I've got, looks like the aluminium one with a spare circlip, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, we've got the first one out. I must say there's a lot of grime inside here, and I think that's what's ended the seal, or maybe got between the seal and the wall of the cylinder, and that's what's caused it to leak. We've got a secondary system inside. That's the second set of plungers. And that's nearly sent a squirt of brake fluid into the house. Okay, luckily I've got a rag here. Sorry, I'm going out of frame because I've got the camera zoomed in quite a bit on this thing, and it's very easy to get it out of frame. I'm going to get that out and then we will carry on with this. As soon as I've got it out, I will bring you back and we can take a further look. What I'm going to do now is clean this whole thing up, take a good look at it. So I'm going to get back to you in a few minutes. I'm just going to clean this up nicely. Right, as you can see, it's a hell of a lot cleaner. It's not spotless yet, but I don't know if you can see inside the bore, it actually doesn't look bad at all. The bores I can feel are as smooth as can be. So what I'm going to do now is take this tank off. I know there will be a lot of sediment in there. I'm going to give that a nice rinse out and then just carry on and make sure that this thing is absolutely spotless inside. I had to clean the edge here with some very, very fine water paper. So I'm just going to go over that with maybe some steel wool or something, just to make sure that there's no deep scratches or anything that might cause a leak in the end. Unfortunately, I don't have any finer sandpaper, or not fine enough here with me today, but I worked very, very lightly, trying not to cause any deep scratches. And yeah, I think the steel wool will just polish up. It's only the mouth here, and I don't think there's any movement of the seal this side of where I sanded anyway. So I'm just going to clean that up and smooth it off with some steel wool, and then I'm going to give this thing an entire wash and we'll start to assemble. And then we'll get back to the car and clean up that whole area there that looks absolutely gross. But let me get this tank off, and we're going to just take it off and give it a good clean. I know it's not easy filming this because it would be nice if I could put the camera on that side of the workbench and film from the outside, but unfortunately this bench is against the wall. So I'm filming from the side, zoomed into the part I'm working on, and you can't actually see me. But I will do some talking to the camera a little bit later, and we'll get there. We'll get there. I suppose this is more important than anything else. Well, there we go, that was easy enough. We'll get these seals out. Get that one off there. And there we go. Okay, those will be cleaned, greased up nicely before we put them back in. And now we can give this part a really good rinse. Okay, I'm going to bring you back once I've finished with all the cleaning up and the polishing up of the entrance to the bore, and then we'll have a look at assembling the whole lot again. It should be fine. There's a little bit of brake fluid still in there that I can see, but we'll get that all out in a minute. Okay, I've pretty much given it a decent clean on the inside and the out. As you can see down the bore there, it's nice and shiny, spotlessly clean. I'm going to go ahead and install the new plunger kit into the barrels for now, and then I will leave this on the bench while I go and sort out the mess at the master cylinder. That's the new seals. They've all been pre-lubricated, I see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some clean brake fluid, and I'm going to lube the cylinder because the cylinder is bone dry at the moment. I don't want to put these back into a bone dry cylinder. They've got lubrication in the bag, I can see. It's a little bit of oil, but not enough in my opinion. I'm going to lube the cylinder as well. So I'll bring you back for that. Alright, I've added a little bit of brake fluid to the cylinder, and we are ready now to install our new set of plungers. Now, the way I see it, this one goes in that way. I think I'm just going to put some brake fluid onto these plungers as well. Just put that there. That should be enough for now. That one goes in like that. There we go. Now, as far as I know, that must be compressed so that I can put in the new retainer into there. suppose this is going to be a bit of an education to get this down. I don't want to push that with something sharp. That's enough. And that will keep that in there. Give that a good turn. Right, front plungers are in. Now to install the rear set, take the circlip out here, keep that ready. Come on. There we go, new set of seals. I am hoping this is going to solve my problem. As I said, I've started off with very weak and fading brakes, and it turns out that only the rear brakes were working, and the front ones were the problems. But it slowly got worse until I had absolutely no rear or no front brakes at all, and the rear brakes were started to get really sharp because the front brakes were doing absolutely nothing. Okay, now this is going to be another bit of a education. Get this circlip into there. Wow, that was pretty easy. Okay, we should have good brakes. Right, I'm going to now give this reservoir a good clean. I'm not sure how I should do this. I think hot soapy water and then a good shake out, and then rinse it out with some brake fluid, which is hydroscopic, which should absorb all the leftover water. Drain that out, maybe give it another rinse with a little bit of brake fluid, and then it should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be back to you. Right, as you can see, it is clean, the new plungers are in, the reservoir has been cleaned out, put back on with a little bit of brake fluid on the seals as lubricant to get it in, all ready to go. Next job is at the car. As you can see in the image there now, the thing is very rusted inside. I doubt whether this thing has ever been taken off before. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that a good scrape out and a good clean, and I will probably just smash it full of grease before I put it all together. The grease should prevent any rusting in future. I can't see any water getting into there once I've got a good grease seal around the edges. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and clean that as best I can, and then grease it all up and get the master cylinder back on. As you can see, this is quite a tedious business. I'll probably cut out most of this, But yeah, when I'm finished here, it'll be fairly clean. And it's a pity I don't have any etch coat primer here with me. Otherwise, I would have primed that inside. But second prize is just to pack it full of grease and leave it just like that. I can't see it rusting with grease in there. I'm also, you might have saw me take off the gasket earlier. I didn't even know it had a gasket on here, but the gasket is broken right at the bottom, which is not really a problem. If it does get water in it, it'll run out there. But I am going to, the gasket is really thin, so it's like paper, like a sheet of paper. I am going to make a slightly thicker gasket and actually put this on with a little bit of sealer, and hopefully that will seal everything inside there and keep it almost watertight. I don't think it's sealed to the inside, but that hopefully will never get water in from the inside. But it should be fine after this. I'm just hoping that I get my front brakes back. As it was, a little while ago I did a test. I jacked the car up, put it on stands, got my girlfriend to put her foot on the brake and just keep it there. At first I couldn't move the front wheels. They were tight by hand anyway. And then after maybe 10-15 seconds I could spin the wheels pretty freely. So the seals were definitely leaking and it was passing. And none of the calipers or anything are leaking. There's not a drop leaking there. So it has to be in the master cylinder where the problem is. But I'm sure we're going to sort that out with a new seal kit. From here, this car's got to get me to work on Monday morning. So yeah, it's every Saturday. The major jobs get done on a weekend. That's how it works with this car. And I've managed to do some serious jobs. I mean, I've replaced rear wheel bearings, which is a fairly decent job on a semi-floating axle, because the wheel bearings, it's very difficult to get the old wheel bearings out if you don't have the right tools. I happen to have had the right tools at the time, and but it took me a whole day just to do the rear wheel bearings. I've also done bigger jobs like opening the rear diff, taking the planetary gears and everything out. You remember the video I put out where I physically measured the shims that are needed, or the thrust washers that are needed, closed it all up, used it, got the shims that are needed, and then opened it up again the following weekend or a couple of weekends after that and did the job. And that's when I filmed the last video. So yeah, these bigger jobs can be done on a weekend and the car can be kept running. Obviously there are massive jobs, like if I had to take the engine out or something like that, then I don't know what I'll do. I would have to probably walk to work, and while I've got the engine out or while the car's off the road, I wouldn't be able to go anywhere really, because I don't have another car. You know, a lot of people get scared off by jobs like this. They think, oh, you know, they can't handle it, but if you tackle the things methodically and just one step at a time, understanding how things work as you take them apart, there's nothing on these cars, or any car really, unless you get to really serious electronics and stuff like that, where even I would be stuck. But there's nothing so difficult that you can't just methodically fathom it out, follow the steps. I mean, you take it apart and you put it together, reverse order. It's very simple. And jobs like this are really not that difficult. I mean, you saw how easy it was for me to change the plungers and the seals in the master cylinder itself. It's really not a big job, and other people would rush off and send it to the agents, pay 10 times what the job is really worth. And this is how I save money on this car, and this is how I am able to own a car like this, because if I had to send this thing in to do these jobs, there's no ways I could afford it. But yeah, that is how I save money and am able to spend money on other things that are still that I do myself, but that I can spend money on materials. Stainless steel tubing to weld up the drawer system's frame, aluminium sheet to cut and bend the drawers themselves, welding rods and all of that to weld the drawers up. So yeah, with a bit of determination and discipline, it's the biggest thing. You can tackle pretty expensive stuff, and that is the only way that I am going to get going with this channel and to gain some traction and to eventually get on that trip to Elundu, which I am hoping to do next year. Probably around April, May next year when things start cooling off. I know it gets bloody hot up in Namibia. I've been there before. That is the reason why I want to go back up there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a case of going ready or not. Whatever I haven't done by then, too bad. I will have a draw system. I will hopefully have my water system finished. I'm busy with the water system at the moment. I'm going to be doing another video on the heating system itself. Show you how I'm doing that. Remember, I said that I'm going to be getting heated water, hot water for free. And basically it is for free. It's nothing new, no science, no rocket science anyway. And but the way I am doing it, I think it's probably a first. I haven't seen anybody else do it, and it will save me. I won't need massive lithium and electric water heaters and all that kind of stuff. As I said, I won't even need a diesel heater. I won't need a fire. I won't need anything. And those that know what I'm talking about will know how easy it is. But there will be a little twist, and I'm going to show you that in the very near future. But in the meantime, I need brakes. So after cleaning everything up as best I can, I didn't have any paint to paint that out. So as you can see now, I have packed it full of grease like I would a wheel bearing. I think that's probably the best I can do for it. Even better than some paint at the moment. So I've packed that full of grease. I gave the brake booster a thin smear of grease. I put the very thin gasket back again, and then I've gave a very thin smear of grease to this face, and I've also put a little bit of grease in the center to grease the ball, but it has there already. I think that is probably going to be the best bet at the moment. I'm going to put this all back together now, and then I'll be ready to put once I put the pipes back on, I'll be ready to put some fluid in it and start bleeding the system, and hopefully that'll be the end of my braking problems. That means I've got very little air in there and very little chance for water to settle in there anyway. So I'm going to get a little bit more squeeze out, and that's fine. Get some nuts on there. Oh, damn it. Always has to be that one. It's one thing I have found with any vehicle, they are put together dry. Every nut, bolt is put on bone dry, not a dab of lubricant anywhere. So any nuts and bolts that I take out anywhere get lubricated. I don't care where they go, what they are, they all get a little bit of grease on the threads before I put them back on again. I've found that to be good practice. Saves a lot of trouble down the road. One thing you will notice with me is I'm still very old school. I do not have one electric tool, as in a electric screwdriver or an electric impact drive or anything like that. I do not have one. I suppose it's not really out of choice. So that is the reconditioning of the master cylinder, putting in new plunger kit with all new seals and springs and plungers themselves. And now it's a case of put the pipes back on, get some fluid in it, and let's get this thing bled. I'm not going to bore you with the details of putting the pipes back on or topping up the fluid. I'll bring you back when I start bleeding the system. Alright, I'm under the back of the car now. I've already bled the front brakes. But I thought I would show you something. I didn't want to bore you with showing you how to bleed the brakes. But I want to show you something, call it a tip, a trick, a secret, call it what you like. But To bleed the back brakes of the 80 series and most vehicles, I would imagine all vehicles with a load sensing valve or load proportioning valve, if you try and bleed the brakes without taking loose this arm that goes to the sensing valve, if you don't take that loose and move it as far up as possible, as if the vehicle was under full load, you will not get much fluid out of the system. You will battle to bleed it. So just take note that when you bleed the rear brakes of the 80 series or any vehicle with a load sensing or load proportioning valve for that matter, take this bracket loose and move this arm as high up as possible, opening the valve as much as possible to the rear brakes, and then you'll be able to bleed them much quicker. But I have bled the rear brakes. They are finished bled, and I must admit my brakes are now working 100%. So there you have it. It's not very difficult, very easy fix. It took me a little time, but my brakes are now working perfectly well. Please remember, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to share this video, and if you are not subscribed yet, please do so now. Catch you in the next video.